Hello there, guys. How are you guys doing today? Well, it's quite upsetting. Just knowing what's going on in the Michael world, I forgot. I should have turned off my television before I pressed live. But anyway, it's a very trying time for all of us in the Michael Jackson fan community, having to suffer and relive old allegations and stuff that we thought were over, that we thought were done, that we thought were finished, are now coming back, and it's quite upsetting. And they're coming back with a vengeance. I'm reading articles that are so graphic in nature, salacious details about man-boy sex. I'm getting so disgusted by it, and I think we're entering into a realm right now, thanks to HBO and Dan Reed, of another line that we're crossing from censorship, because you should not be able to describe in graphic, salacious details the sexual acts that involve a little kid, period. I mean, just say oral sex, just say anal sex, just say kissing. We don't need all the other details with that, and even that is a bit much for me to take. So I am just like ugh. Okay. Oh, my new nails. I got my nails redone. So I'm going through a lot right now, and I know you fans are going through a lot, and I know the Jackson family is going through a lot, and just like last year's Best Picture was The Shape of Water, which I thought was a good movie, but it was about bestiality. A human woman having sex with a alien beast that was non-human. And so that line has been crossed and awarded. And now we're seeing Leaving Neverland, where they even had to have counselors in the lobby to be counseled and discussed and talked to because of the graphic nature of Leaving Neverland. This should not be allowed. In my opinion, it's really a child pornography movie disguised as a documentary. That's what I think it is. Because Dan Reed has made a lot of salacious documentaries already, and even one about pedophiles. So he knows exactly what he's doing. I think he's done 25 to 30 documentaries from everybody from PBS to all the majors. So this guy, director, he knows what he's doing. He knows how to sell whatever story he is selling, and that's why it's one-sided. Because it was supposed to be one-sided, because I consider it a threat, okay, to the estate to settle before we show this to the world. Okay, so we know that the estate has slapped them with a lawsuit, and we know that in the lawsuit was that confidentiality provision, and which says that they can get injunctive relief that is perpetual, meaning it never ends, and that they can be sued for damages, and that Michael can own whatever property that is that disparaged him in a negative light. Now, I went ahead and I looked up the court cases in the Santa Monica courts, okay? And I'm going to show you the dates that are on the website, okay? Here are the dates that are on the website. This is the court case. This is the lacourt.org. And the date that they have for a hearing is 8/20/2019. What? And it hasn't changed. Everything was filed on the 21st of February. And there, of course, per contract, it's got to be arbitration. And okay, so, and then I called the Santa Monica courthouse, and they told me there was another date of 6/26/2019 for some date. Now, what I was hoping for was what we call an immediate injunction. Okay, an immediate injunction. Or a restraining order to get them to stop airing it. But I don't see anything. And yesterday, the clerk at the Santa Monica courthouse didn't have any other dates. But I heard that they were going to court yesterday but I don't know what happened. Now, I don't want it to be aired because I think that even if you love Michael and you're just kind of Michaeling and you see him with little kids or pictures are manipulated right now, Photoshop can do all kinds of stuff. And we're just going to have these weird feelings and these weird things in our head, even though we don't believe them and we believe Michael. But you can't unhear something. You can't unsee something. You know, you can't just block it out. So I'm not even sure. Even though I report with you guys and I'm a news source, I fear watching this documentary. I really don't want to see it. I mean, okay, you say Michael molested a kid. Okay, got it. Got it. Orally, anally, kissing, fondling. Got it. I don't need the gory details. You see what I mean? I don't need the gory details. I got it. I understand. I was a reporter in the 2005 trial. I get it. Okay? But there's a couple of more things that I have for you guys. And, okay. Sorry about that. Somebody told me, they said, Pearl, turn your ringer off. Well, sorry, I didn't. Okay. But anyway, there's a couple of things that can be done, and I don't know if they're being done or have they been done, but I'm going to share you guys something. Okay. This is called an ex parte. Okay. An ex parte. It's a Latin word for one party. An ex parte refers to motions or hearings or orders granted on the request of and for the benefit of one party only. Ex parte matters are usually temporary orders like a restraining order or temporary custody or an immediate injunction or an injunction, permanent or temporary, pending a formal hearing or an emergency request for a continuance. Okay, that's what needs to be done here. Okay, it's called a restraining order. And with the restraining order, okay, let me bring up the injunction. With the restraining order, that means you can stop it from being aired. Okay, so I looked up injunction here, and I'm going to turn my camera around. I better not do it too much. It's going well. Okay, it says preliminary or permanent injunctions in California. And it's by this law firm, and they wrote this, okay, and I highlighted certain things. So we remember in the confidential provision, it said that you can have injunctive release. Well, an injunction is an extraordinary remedy used to require a defendant or other persons to take or refrain from taking a specified action when necessary to protect a legal right being pursued by the plaintiff. Okay, so that means that, you know, per the confidentiality provision, we are going to exercise the right in that contract for injunctive relief. So to stop you from airing this, okay? Now, it's either temporary or it's preliminary or it's permanent or final injunction, okay? The final injunction would be that Michael owns it, and that's what the agreement says. If you disparage Michael, he owns that product. We read it together. Okay, we read that confidentiality provision together. Okay, now I went ahead, it's a lot more, so if you want to read it, I gave you the name of the guy and you can look it up yourself. So I highlighted some other stuff. Okay, when deciding whether to issue a preliminary injunction, a trial court will evaluate two interrelated factors. The likelihood that a plaintiff will prevail on the merits at trial. We have the confidentiality provision, right? Number two, the interim harm that the plaintiff is likely to sustain if the injunction were denied as compared to the harm that the defendant is likely to suffer if the preliminary injunctions were issued. Okay, let me turn this around. Okay, there's no rush to air this Leaving Neverland. What's the rush? I don't understand. What's the rush? The only rush is that they want to get it out and they're trying to pressure the estate into settling. Okay, it doesn't matter if this airs tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. There's no time constraints on this. Okay, now the only time constraint there could be is on Wade ROBson's behalf because they've already lost their lawsuit. It's been dismissed, okay, because of statute of limitations. And then Wade lied and said he didn't know that there was an estate, and because he wanted to get around the statute of limitations. But John Branca had an email, the estate had an email when they were talking about Wade and the Cirque du Soleil show. So he knew that there was an estate and he knew the purposes of the estate. So the judge was like, come on, dude, stop. Okay. So their case is dismissed. It is now on appeal. Okay. So the only time constraint would be that the Wade and his team, okay, are thinking that we got to pressure and put it fast and pressure them into settling so that we get the money and then we can say we control this, we're going to pull out of this. Well, HBO right now is taking it in their own hands if they don't take it down on their own. Okay, now maybe the estate feels like, okay, you know, we filed you with a lawsuit. We served you with the confidentiality agreement. We proved to you that TTC Touring is Michael Jackson's company, is Optimum Productions company, which is Michael's company. That transfer was done December 2010. That was a part of it. That was the exhibit, okay? There was, to the lawsuit, there was the exhibit of the original contract, the exhibit B, that was exhibit A, exhibit, the HBO contract, okay, for 1992. That was exhibit A. Exhibit B was the attached 1992 confidentiality agreement, and exhibit C was the proof that TTC Touring is the same thing as Optimum, and they transferred that to Optimum December 2010. So it's plain as day for HBO to go, oh man, they got us, oh man, right? Or they got us good enough to where postponing this, okay, to postponing this is maybe the right thing to do, because there's no time constraint. There's no reason why this has to air March 3rd and March 4th on HBO. No reason why it has to air in the UK soon after that. There's no reason why Q Worldwide Distribution, who has international distribution rights excluding US and UK, that they have to do it. There's no time constraint except for a supposed unrelated lawsuit, but it's all one thing. It's all Michael Jackson, the estate, settle and give us money. That's all this is about, okay? So this is a last-ditch effort, okay? So the estate, if they're not filing a temporary restraining order or an injunction and asking for injunctive release, maybe the estate feels like his legacy can survive this. Well, that's yet to be seen. And maybe they believe that the same people who thought Michael was guilty will continue to, and the people that continue to think Michael was innocent will continue to think he's innocent. And maybe they don't think there's any, harm that's going to be done. But I'm telling you, okay, as somebody who does Michael all day, every day, I'm stressed out. Okay, I'm stressed out reading these stories and seeing this and going, oh my God, this is such a disgusting thing. Okay, so other people who don't love Michael as much as I do, okay, can be manipulated by movie magic, which is what Dan Reed does, movie magic, okay? Now, there's a lot of other stuff going on, okay? This is, I'm going to turn my camera around. Okay, we know who HBO is, and we know Channel 4. Q, like Kiwi, Key, I don't know. Do Q, I guess it's called Q, I don't know. Media Group, Drew, Crew, Drew Crew, I don't know, Media Group. Anyway, they're not big players, okay? Most of their movies I haven't heard of before. Okay, they're not big players. The only one that I know about is the documentary about Eileen Wuornos, who was the female serial killer. I know about her story. I'm not sure if I've seen their stories on it, but they are not doing, a lot of big movies. So they better, this might bankrupt their company. Okay, because they know that there's a lawsuit too. And they can choose to bow out if they want to. They don't have to continue with this. They can say, look, our agreement is no longer good because of the lawsuit, and we didn't know that there was an agreement, and we didn't know at the time that we signed this contract and we said distribution back in January that there was this confidentiality provision. So anybody else right now who decides that they're going to participate with HBO and air this, they're going to be liable too. Okay, now HBO is the main one because HBO is co-producer, co-owner of this documentary, and HBO is the one that signed the '92 agreement in perpetuity, okay, perpetually, which means it never ends. The contract is good forever. Okay, so we got that. So there's more stuff. Let me turn my camera around. Boy, my camera is working really well today. Isn't my phone working well today? Now, the reason why I do it this way is because Cecil is my usual camera person and my lighting person and my editor and, audio, but Cecil works, so that I can afford to do this. So I can't always, I do everything myself. I don't have a staff and a crew and all these people. So sometimes I make mistakes. So if I make a mistake, and I catch it or you catch it, please, before you send me a message, look underneath of the YouTube video. And it'll be in the description. Like in the last video, I accidentally said history tour when it was a dangerous tour. Thank you for the fans who told me. But I had already caught that and put that down in the description. Okay. And then remedy at law. I didn't describe that right. So I put the description of what remedy at law means inside of the description in the video. So just know, in all my videos, I try to go back and watch them and catch whatever little tiny mistakes and errors that I make. I put it in the corrections underneath the videos. Okay. Now, of course, everybody, please subscribe to right now. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, do it right now. Just go and just click your little mouse and put subscribe. Okay. Thank you so very much. And share and like. Okay. And share and like my videos. Thank you so much. Okay. So I'm trying to close this one down, but it won't let me close it. Okay, don't save changes. Okay, so I got more stuff to share with you guys. Okay, okay, Wade Robson. Let's go back to his lying butt and how terrible he is and how awful this whole situation is. Wade. Apparently, I haven't seen the Leaving Neverland. I've just heard bits and pieces of it from news stories or from other people. But there's supposed to be a scene where he burned some of Michael's stuff, right? Okay, after 30 years, let me burn his stuff, okay? Before I go there, if you're a little kid and Michael is molesting you, every time you go see him, every time you're alone, why did you keep going back? And you're not supposed to have liked it because you're not gay today. Okay? You're heterosexual. So that's what I don't get. Any little kid who is being, and it's uncomfortable. You're 7 to 14, you're 12, you're 13, you're 10, you're 8, you're 9, you're 7, and the police have already told you it's wrong? You've already been questioned about it? How come you didn't tell your mother you don't want to go back to Michael's house? You don't want to go back to Neverland? Also, same thing with SafeCHECK. 4 years he said he was molested. Why did you, and you're not supposed to be gay either. So you didn't like it, right? Right? So why did you continue to go back? Why did you go back? Why didn't you tell your parents, don't take me there? Okay? Because you're lying, it's not true. And then Wade, even after Michael said, me and you are quits, and he set you up with his niece, Brandy, which is ridiculous, and you were with her for 7 years. Why did you keep going back to the family? Why did you want to go to his funeral? And this whole thing, you said you never forgot. You couldn't come to grips. That's BS, because the police told you over and over and over again that sex, fondling, touching your private parts, anal sex, was all wrong. You knew. Okay, so you're lying, Wade. You're lying. Now, another thing, the anal sex part. Do you know that's new? That's new to Wade. I'm not quite sure what SafeCHECK says. Do you know that's new? No other kid had ever said Michael anally had sex with him, ever. Okay, Jordy didn't say that. Okay, Arvizo didn't say that. Okay, Francia didn't say that. Never was accused of anal sex, ever. Okay? But I'm sure the police, when they question you, and you were under oath, Wade, and so were you, SafeCHECK, with your signed declaration, okay? You knew it was wrong. And you had the police on your side to protect you. You had the police on your side to protect you. Okay? And nothing happened to Jordy Chandler when he told, right? When the father put him under because his father was a dentist, and he put him under that Sobernitol or whatever you call the stuff, okay? Medicine, and had him hallucinate something, okay? I see the word in my head, but I can't remember it. But you fans will tell me what it is, because just like when I couldn't remember the Statue of David, you fans told me, right? Never any anal sex. Okay, so this is all just completely made up BS. You can't prove it. You can't exhume a body. There's no body in there in the crypt, because Forrest Lawn told me and many fans we don't have Michael's body. We've never had, and there's no name on that crypt that Michael paid $590,000 for. Okay, plus a whole bunch more. So watch my Alive trilogy of Michael Jackson documentaries to learn so much more. But that's not the topic at hand. It really doesn't matter if Michael is dead or alive right now. This is about somebody lying on him and trying to destroy his legacy and trying to extort money, lots of money from the estate. Now, there's never been an amount. Okay, I know Jermaine said 1.5 million, and we in the estate's lawsuit said hundreds of millions, but there was never a specific amount, because you don't have to say the amount at the time that you are going through the preliminaries. Okay, now I'm going to turn my camera around and tell you, Wade ran out of money. Okay, this is all about Wade being broke. Okay, Julian's Auctions. It doesn't have the check mark, but I went ahead and I went to the Julian's Auctions website, and their link on their official website links to this page, this Twitter page. Okay, Wade asked me to read. This is Julian Auctions. What they do is they auction off famous people's stuff, right? And I know the guy, and I met the guy a couple times, you know, because I went to Michael had this exhibit at the ROBson's May closed down store in Beverly Hills, and I went there in May. And I saw Shauna there, and I saw Shauna Mangatal. I saw her there. I put her video back up, by the way, if you guys want to see my interview. Some of you guys know why I took it down. Some of you guys don't know why I took it down. She wasn't cool to me. That's why I took it down. But for the same reason I interviewed her in the first place is the same reason why I put back up Shauna Mangatal, the interview I did with her, because somebody is saying, a girl is saying, and plus Teresa Gonzalez, both of those women say that Michael had sex with them, okay? And Stephanie Mills says Michael kissed them. Also, Lisa Marie said Michael had sex. He screeched and screamed. Okay, so there are testimonies from women that are saying Michael had sex. Plus, you know, about the other rumor that Mickey Howard and Michael had sex, and a child was the result. Okay, Brandon Howard, that's another one. Okay, but Debbie Rose said that they never had sex. I was in the courtroom when she said in 2005 that they had never had sex, okay? But anyway, Wade asked to remain anonymous and said he did not want anyone to think it was him selling the items in 2011, but we did not agree to that and listed it as Wade ROBson's collection. He consigned multiple items and wanted us to sell all the items of his that had value, okay? This is Wade falling apart, because he was supposed to do some show. He also was affiliated with the Chris Angel Belief Circus Soleil show, okay? But he was directing something. It didn't work out. He stressed out. Then he went back after he had dissed the estate when they thought that he wanted to be the choreographer or the director of the Michael Jackson one. He ignored them. But after his other directing gig didn't work out, he wrote a letter to the estate, okay? He wrote a letter to the estate. I have that letter. He wrote, I'm going to turn my camera around. Okay, he wrote this letter to the estate. It's dated May 21st, 2011, okay? And he said, I always wanted to do the MJ show badly. Because I wanted to do it so badly. Look, the directing gig didn't work out. It was consuming me in an unhealthy way that I wasn't okay with being a brand new father. Maybe it just wasn't the right time. Maybe I just wasn't ready to direct a studio film. Either way, I removed myself from the project. I am really sorry for the back and forth, but now that I no longer have the film conflict, I'd love nothing more than to choreograph the MJ show. I understand completely you being upset and nervous about that idea, okay? I know I am meant to do this show. I am passionate to do this show. I want to make it amazing for me, for you, for Circus, and of course, for Michael, okay? Wade sang this guy's praises. He said going to Neverland was like Disneyland, the happiest place on earth. You know, so this whole thing, you know, but let me read this part that I don't have highlighted. But if you are all interested in the possibility, I promise you 100% that this time, once I'm in. You will not have to worry about my commitment level ever. I have learned a lot through this process. I have learned what I did wrong, mistakes that I have made. This has happened for a reason. Okay, so this is what this is all about. Wade ran out of money, okay? Wade ran out of money. He went and started selling all his items of Michael's. So did the sister, Chantel. She sold something. I seen some of her stuff, like a mirror picture of Michael that she had that she sold. Okay, and Wade, there's reports that Wade is lying and minimizing the amount of money he sold these things for. And if he's married, he's a new father, and they're probably living in a big house, and his monthly nut is probably really high, and he probably went through, you know, thousands of dollars in like 6 months or years. But anyway, he wrote a book. He lied about writing the book, saying he didn't tell anybody about the molestation, but he did, okay, because he was writing a book and he had talked. They found thousands of conversations like it stated in the lawsuit, okay? So Wade is a complete liar. He changes his mind. He can't be trusted. He can't, you know, the whole Britney Spears thing messed up his career, you know. So, you know, he cheated on Brandy, who was Jackie's daughter, for 7 years. And it's just an awful situation, okay? So he came up with the idea that he will claim that Michael Jackson molested him, okay? And that's where all this came from. And then SafeCHECK joined in, okay, for the ride, because he knew that paparazzi footage was there of him going into a jewelry store with Michael. And let's spin that into a whole marriage, as if Michael really had the little kid try on the ring. Okay? Seriously. Okay? So, in whatever jewelry that SafeCHECK is presenting in the documentary, how do we know that that's true? How do we know that's real? How do we know he didn't find that at a jewelry store at a pawn shop? Okay? Okay? I digress, okay? But this is what this is all coming from. So Wade does a Michael Jackson stuff burning, okay? In Leaving Neverland, I heard, okay? What is he burning? Okay? He sold all the things that were worth value already to Julian's auction. So is he burning maybe some of Michael Jacobheimer's false stuff? He's another one, okay? That's falsifying Michael's signature and forgeries and stuff, and saying Michael gave him that book, Boys Will Be Boys. Let me tell you a little something about the Boys Will Be Boys. That was a book Michael had that they found in 1993. Okay? That was not something that was in Michael's possession in 2003, that raid, the 2003 raid. Okay? Michael Jacob Hagan called me several times, and I know I've told you guys this, and he wanted me to interview him. Then he asked me to pay him to do the interview. Please. I already knew. And he told me Michael never molested him, never mentioned a book that Michael gave him at all. Okay? So this book, so Jacobs Hagan met Michael in 98. And I heard and I read that they just met that one time in Germany. That he's never ever been to Neverland. Okay, so he's saying that Michael gave him this book, and it's a book of naked boys, but it is not considered child pornography. It is not. Okay, so Jacobsheimer forges stuff. So is Wade pretending like he's burning some stuff? Because once he burned it, who's going to go back and see what it was, see if it was real, see if it was authentic? This is all a stage game. This is all movie magic. This is all just BS, weaving together a story with sensationalism and salacious details. It should really, this should be outlawed, because anything involving kids and sex should be monitored by the FCC. And that brings me to the FCC. Let me turn my camera around. I wrote the FCC a letter, okay? I wrote the FCC a letter. Okay, here's my response from the FCC, okay? And I told them that this is a horrible documentary, it's child pornography, and it shouldn't be allowed, and I wrote them a long thing. Well, the FCC got back to me quick, within a day, and it says the FCC is not permitted to censor or restrict the availability of non-broadcast programming shown over cable and satellite systems. Cable and satellite operators do not have the same restrictions on program content as regular television broadcast stations. Okay, but you know what? You know what? There's a record of it. And I wonder if the FCC is required to automatically forward all complaints of child pornography or child sexual abuse to an agency that can handle it. But they did give me some links to go through, okay? But at least I tried, and at least it's on the record. Okay, it's on the record, just like I filed the lawsuit with the Santa Barbara Police Department, and also wrote a letter to the Santa Barbara, if I said Santa Monica, I'm sorry, Santa Barbara District Attorney, filed a police report with the Santa Barbara Police, and Magna Gola. I sent him, I think it was 2 emails, okay, saying charge Wade and SafeCHECK with obstruction of justice, perjury, and conspiracy. Now, back before Ron Zonin, who was the assistant DA in the 2005 trial, Magna Gola was also a part of that prosecution team too. But back in 2013, I found an article where Ron Zonin, who was Tom Snetten's partner in all this, said he's not filing charges against Wade and SafeCHECK for perjury because it's his choice. Okay, it's his choice. Now, I do believe the state has a secret weapon, which is Tom Mesereau. Okay, so I think that if HBO does not pull the stops on this, okay, and the estate does not file a temporary restraining order, which AKA temporary injunction, okay, injunctive relief, okay, and this goes out to the world, there's all kind of lawsuits. This is going to go on forever. Okay, this can go on for years and years and years because, you know, except for our arbitration with HBO, though. Okay, it's arbitration. Arbitration is usually pretty quick with HBO. But all the entities that have made money doing this, like KEW, Worldwide Distributors, Channel 4, and any other outlets that are distributing it, all the money that you're making, the estate can get that from you. Okay, because you didn't have a right to distribute it after the lawsuit was filed and the confidentiality provision was attached. Okay, you know what you're getting into. So not only will you give all the money to the Michael Jackson estate, but also it's probably going to be 3 times the amount for punitive damages. Okay? So there's a whole lot going on. Okay, I still got more notes. I have so many notes. Okay. I heard a rumor that Oprah was going to interview Wade and SafeCHECK. I haven't been able to confirm that, but I hope not. But Oprah, soon after Michael was acquitted in 2005, I did a video about it, guys. You can go through my YouTube channel. I did a video about Oprah. Wait a minute, girl. You know, you don't know more than the FBI, okay? You don't know more than the Child and Family Services. You don't know more than those jurors that sat there every day and listened to 12 weeks of testimony. Okay, there was no cameras, so if you didn't go to the trial, you're not getting it firsthand. Okay, there were no cameras allowed. You don't know more than the LAPD. You don't know more than, I think a grand jury is 15 members, I think. Okay, 2 grand juries failed to indict Michael Jackson in 1993. 2. Okay, 200 witnesses were interviewed in 1993. Okay, over $2 million was spent. Okay, on this. So you don't know more than them, Oprah. I'm sorry. I love you. I think you're great and you're wonderful. But on this, me and you ain't on eye to eye on this. Okay? Because he was acquitted by people who sat there every day and listened to all the testimony, and it was unanimous. It was 14 out of 14 not guilties. Complete exoneration. You can't be vindicated more than that. Okay? They couldn't even prove that Michael was feeding kids alcohol. Couldn't even prove that. Then we have Adrian. We have the same old players. Adrian Mcmanus, okay, who I told you about, guys, about Neverland 5. She's been on that 60-minute interview, and I've only seen bits and pieces of the 60 minutes, only because I saw Tal Mesro, I saw Jermaine's part, I saw parts of Adrian Mcmanus and some other people, but I'm telling you, it's hard for me to watch this stuff. It's hard because it breaks my heart. Okay, it breaks my heart. It upsets me. Okay, Adrian Mcmanus is back with the Vaseline story. I was in the courtroom in 2005 with the Vaseline story, that Michael had a lot of Vaseline. I guess she's saying that he was getting, getting something slippery, okay, because it doesn't lubricate like a vagina does on its own. And I'm sorry to be graphic, but if Michael was using Vaseline on little boys' behinds, okay, wouldn't the mothers, when they did the laundry of a 7-year-old or a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old or 9 or 13 does the laundry, wouldn't she, if I saw my kid's greasy underwear, I would be, oh my God, what the, I mean, Jesus Christ. So, come on, Adrian. Vaseline he used because Liz Taylor's beauty secret was Vaseline. You can Google it. We talked about this already, but she brought that up again. Okay, she brought up seeing somebody in the shower, and so you just said, oops, excuse me. I talk about this in my Michael Jackson, The Trial and Triumph documentary, because I was in there. You just see something, oral copulation or man in the shower with a boy, and all you do is say, excuse me. My instinct, without even thinking, would be, get the hell out of there, Michael. And I would have took that little boy with me, and I would have gotten the car, and I would have left with that little boy. Period. And whatever will be, will be. Okay? So that's aiding and abetting a pedophile if you saw it and didn't say anything until money presented itself to you. Okay, so these people have already been caught lying. It's the same old players, except for Wade and SafeCHECK are now perjurers, and they're liars. Okay, I'm working on something really, 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 really big. Okay, and we're getting blessings from it. Okay, but I can't tell you guys what it is right now. I can't. Okay, but believe me, as soon as I can, I will. Okay, so we're still working out some details on it, but some of the big parts we already got. Okay, all right, so the 60-minute thing is all hogwash. I'm going to get to Oprah. Okay, so tomorrow, guys, thank you, Kellen. Tomorrow, I'm going to turn my camera around. Got so much stuff to tell you guys. Tomorrow on CBS with Gayle, okay, who came out and said now she believes Michael is a molester after Oprah, Gayle, and David Geffen watched it on David Geffen's yacht on Oprah's birthday. Okay, but thank God, okay, she's trying to come, because she got a lot of hate mail, Gayle did, okay, but thank God that Gayle is, she open-minded, but that little, look at this little look on her face, a little weird, but, okay, she's like, okay, now, that's Taj Jackson, who has the GoFundMe page where he's going to do another documentary. There's Jackie, there's Marlon, and there's Tito. Okay, they're all going to be on CBS tomorrow, 7 a.m. Okay, I don't know if that's Pacific Standard Time or Eastern Time. I don't know. Okay, but that's CBS this morning. Tomorrow they're going to be on, so we need to watch that because we're finally getting somebody to defend Michael. Okay, let's see. I'm doing so good. I'm doing so good with my notes. Okay. Okay, let me turn this around, my camera around. Okay, naysayers. Okay, so people leave comments under my videos, right? Now, if somebody says, I got this information, I got that information, I got this information, and you're not sending me links, why am I going to allow that comment to be on my page without proof? Okay, there's somebody on my page, on my YouTube video, my YouTube channel, who is saying stuff like well, I can't even tell you what it is. You know what? I don't even want to tell you what it is, but you know who you are. Okay. And give me the proof. Yes, I would love whatever proof you have. Send it to pearljr@michaeljacksoninsider.com. Okay. I am willing. I'm open-minded. What you got? I want to work with it. Okay. Because you can't just tell me something is true without proving to me it's true. Okay, without proving to me it's true. Now, as far as the insurance with a signed sworn affidavit by Brian Oxman that said that the insurance paid and negotiated the settlement with the Chandlers, well, that's a sworn affidavit. Okay. Now, Michael had, when you're touring, when you're on tour, you have non-performance insurance, okay, to where if you have to cancel for whatever reason, you get money, okay? You get money if you have to cancel that's insurance. You pay big, big, big bucks for it, okay? There was that clause was in the AEG live contract, which is with the same address as my distributor for my Michael Jackson Trial and Triumph documentary. Thank you, Papa Joe. Thank you, Michael, for that distribution deal, okay? The insurance, that insurance probably had to be paid to Michael that was used to pay Jordy Chandler, I'm imagining. I'm just putting facts together and know that that's a formality to have non-performance insurance where you have to cancel. You can get paid. Michael went to rehab, and that was a big reason to cancel your shows. You're being charged with a crime. You're being charged with child molestation. And at the time, Michael was addicted to prescription meds that Debbie Rowe testified that her, Dr. Klein, and Dr. Hoffland purposely addicted Michael Jackson to prescription drugs when he had his reconstructive surgery on his scalp. Okay, so we know that Michael's been treated real bad by a lot of people. It's some cruel stuff. It's some cruel, heartless stuff. Okay, and he's telling me that he saw a copy of a check. I know LaToya talked about a check, but from Michael, but I think that was the Francia check, because I know Michael paid some money to him, because just like in this case, Michael didn't want there to be two liars out there, in which Diane Diamond paid Jason Francia and his mother Blanca $20,000 to do an interview and say Michael fondled that little boy. And it ended up being some tickling episode or something. It was just ridiculous. Okay? Now this guy is saying that there's other stuff. You watch my videos, dude, and you're waiting for me to respond, but I haven't responded. Because I want you to send me that stuff to pearljr@michaeljacksoninsider.com. Okay? So if anybody wants me to see some proof that Michael is a pedophile, please send it to me. Please. Because I don't want to be protecting someone that I believe is a pedophile. So far, I haven't seen any proof at all whatsoever that Michael is a pedophile. Okay? All the girly magazines that he had, and I just mentioned several women who have said that they've had sex with him. And if you didn't see Michael have sex with a child or touch a child inappropriately, then you don't know it's true. But I know I didn't see him do it, so I can say it's not true because I didn't see him do it. So my opinion is worth more than your opinion when you didn't see it. Okay? And if you're a reputable person with a heart, you would have grabbed that kid out of the shower and you would have put clothes on that kid as fast as you could, and you would have walked him out of there and gotten your car and left and suffered whatever consequences that there were. Okay? Because if they would have killed you by taking the kid out of there, okay, everybody's not going to lie. Okay? Then there's a murder investigation. Okay? Because that's what I would have done. I would have thought about the child. Okay? I wouldn't have aided and abetted it. But I'm open. But so far, and I never said I spent 10,000 hours investigating this trial. I spent over 10,000 hours investigating all of Michael Jackson. Okay? Everything about Michael Jackson. Okay? Not just this trial, but I did sit in that courtroom and listen to testimony. Okay, which this person did not. And if you got something, please show me what the judge did not admit into evidence. show it to me. Send it to me. Okay? And it's got to be reputable. It can't be I heard or somebody said. It's got to be real stuff. Okay? Real stuff. Because I don't go for hearsay. Okay? Because anybody can say anything, like we're learning with Wade and James. Anything. Okay? Let's see. Oh, and another thing that people are saying. The picture of Jordy did not match. Okay? It did not match. Okay? Jordy described a penis that was circumcised, and I hate to say this, but Michael was not. It's a mushroom picture that I have that's inside of the Michael Jackson Trial and Triumph documentary. I have that drawing there, in there, okay? Looks like a mushroom, okay, and that's supposed to be Michael's penis. Well, it doesn't look like that if you're not circumcised, okay? So, it didn't match, because if it matched, they would have arrested Michael right then and there. Okay, and I think they photographed Michael twice. Okay, which is so humiliating. Okay, all because somebody wants some money from you. It is so sad. It is so sad. Okay, let's see. The book, Boys Will Be Boys, okay, that was confiscated in '93. It had Michael was signing it to somebody, right? If Michael was signing it to somebody, he must have thought, this is not a good gift. Maybe he, on first thought, he was just going to give it to somebody, and then he thought, ooh, I better not give it. That's why Michael signed it as a gift, but didn't give it to him. He didn't give it to anybody. He didn't give it to anybody. It's '93. That whole thing, and the estate needs to file charges of perjury against Michael Jacobs Hagan, okay, for that book. Okay, they need to. Because he has forged other notes that Daphne Barak, that she posted when she did an interview with him, in which I'm sure she paid because he asked me to pay him. And I got plenty of correspondences between me and him. Plenty. Okay? All right. So, yeah, so Michael didn't give that book to anyone. He said that, I think the inscription, if my memory's right, said, this is what I wish, I didn't have childhood. I wish my childhood was more like this. Okay? And so he thought about it. He's like, oh, I better not give this book. Oh, and that's why Michael had it. Okay? All right? All right. And it's a book that you can get on eBay. It's a book you can get on Amazon, you know. And anybody who's mad at Michael having that book, why don't you spend your time contacting the author of that book or the photographer who took those pictures? Why don't you research them, harass them, protest the outlets that are selling it? Okay? Because it's not child pornography. And you know what, guys? I think I went through all my notes. Yes, I did. So make sure you subscribe. And I'm still holding out that they filed an immediate injunction. It's just one day, okay? One day. Did I read you guys that? The one day about the injunction? Well, when you file an injunction for injunctive relief, you file the ex parte, then the judge gets it, and then in one day you can see the judge, 1 day to 15 days, and then the judge makes a decision. So it could be a 2 or 3 day process in order to get temporary injunctive relief. And I believe, I mean, a lot of law is very commonsensical. Okay, they got weird words, like instead of squash is quash, you know. It's just weird words that you have to learn, just kind of trick you up if you're not a lawyer, and I'm not a lawyer, you know, and I have to do all this research myself. But they can still file for it and get them to stop airing it, okay? And it's called a temporary restraining order, injunctive release. It takes 1 day to 15 days, and you can get an answer, and they could require HBO to not air it. But it's not me that controls it. You guys, I read the confidentiality agreement with you guys, the provision for the confidentiality provision for you guys. We all read it together. If you haven't, it's my video before this one, okay? Where it says, will Michael Jackson own Leaving Neverland? And I believe he will before this is said and done. But once it's out in the ether, how do you bring it back? How do you take it down? All the little bits and pieces, people that are recording it, people that will put little spots. How do you unspill that once it gets out there with HBO? And like I said, if HBO decides that they're still going to air it, no matter what, even with the lawsuit, well, then Michael's going to own a whole bunch of HBO and a whole bunch of Time Warner Media and a whole bunch of AT&T, because this will be a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. It will be more than $100 million, because this is irreparable harm. You can't take that, and it'll be out there for decades. Okay? It will forever be attached to the King of Pop. Okay? Extortion charges. Okay? But anyway, unethical business practices. Okay? And even that law firm needs to be researched to see if they're, if they're in cahoots and if this was some type of blackmail. Okay? All this stuff. There's a lot of work for Michael's lawyers to do. Lots and lots of work. But I personally, I don't want it to air. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. Now, if they have some proof that it's true, yeah, I want to see the proof. Yeah, I want to see the evidence. I don't want to see just somebody talking and, slick intertwines of Michael saying, I love you. He said, I love you to a lot of people. Wade. Okay? And then, did you see the one commercial where his head is sideways and it's going to the eyeball? This is all manipulation to make you say, yeah, we're looking inside of his head. We're looking in his soul. It's all new movie magic. Like I've told you guys before, when we watch movies, we can cry. Movies can make us cry. When we see Superman flying in the air, we can believe that a man can do that. That kryptonite really does make him weak where he can't move. We know that these things can be made believable using movie magic. And with that, I'm going to go. Yes, it's like opening up Pandora's box. Absolutely, Jasmine. Okay? Spewing disgusting lies. You're absolutely right. You can twist it. It's scary. You're so right. The young boy will not know the MJ we know. Absolutely. The young kids, that's right. Because kids love Michael. Look at the disservice, the heal the world, the hope and the possibility of love and togetherness and no racial lines and all the good that he's done. Oh, this is going to be multi-million. It's going to be so, oh my God. Okay. Love my earrings. Well, thank you. Thank you. It will be irreversible. Absolutely. Which is going to cost them a whole bunch of money. My battery's running out. Okay. He was never proven guilty. No, he wasn't. Shauna looked at the documentary and is going on Facebook venting. Why not do a press conference? She saw it. Where did Shauna see the documentary at? Did she go to Sundance? I thought that was the only way it was place it was going. But I don't follow Shauna like that. Okay, but maybe she went. He's got MJ, you know what, wrong, and it is sad how they did and are still doing Michael Jackson. Yes. Okay, guys, I'm not going to read all the comments here. I'm going to go, but I just kind of wanted to wait. Hi, Teresa Bruner, my buddy. Is there a test that can show if Wade has had anal sex before? It's so old. And plus, it doesn't, even if he did, doesn't mean Michael did it. You know what I mean? We're talking about, he said at age 14 and he's 36 now. So we're talking about 22 years later. There's no DNA anywhere, and if you can't prove it, you can't prove it. Shut your mouth. Okay. How does she know about Vaseline? She said there was Vaseline all over Michael's room. Okay. Hi, Micheline, my buddy, Micheline. How are you? I remember after Michael, the death announcement, Oprah questioned his innocence again and said on her show, I guess we'll never really know, will we? He was found not guilty, Oprah. That's your no. That's how you KNOW. You do know. He was found not guilty. Okay? The only way we'll know is if it's a yes that he was guilty. That's the only way we'll know, is if it's a yes. That's what that was inferring. Let's see. I know I said I was going to go, but I'm trying to go through these questions really quick. Somebody's going to show their copy. Gayle King is interviewing the Jacksons tomorrow. Yes, I got that part. That was Brian Oxman says it's paperwork that wins cases, and I think it will help now too. Thank you, Pearl. Thank you, Amanda. So all of us, we got to be strong, guys, and we got to be strong, okay? And I know it's a trying time. I will go on live again, maybe 2 more times before it airs, and I have not. My HBO is canceled, so I'm not sure. I don't know if I have the courage to watch it, but I know that if I'm being interviewed about it and I'm talking about it, I have to watch it so that people won't say, well, how do you know you didn't watch it? Oh, God, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to, but I feel like I'm going to have to. Okay, guys, talk to you next time. Keep Michaeling, and don't forget, be supportive of me, not asking for free money, but buy the Alive trilogy of Michael Jackson documentaries on Amazon so that I can continue to do what I do, because if I run out of money, I got to go back to work. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.